Joe, the Crux. Now let's get this part out of the way. Joe is the stage name for Joseph Keery, who plays Steve Harrington on Stranger Things. He's an actor by trade. And very often whenever you see, actors making albums, there's sort of a connotation that maybe, they're better actors than than musicians, and maybe their musical output might not be as refined as one would think. But that's really, I don't think, the case at all with this Joe project. The Crux is his third album, and it really shows him displaying a very confident voice. And one of the things I'll say about the Crux in general, it's got a very rich stylistic diversity. The songs are very melodically strong and very, very well arranged. There's a harmonic vocabulary on this album that really transcends just power chords, and it betrays a little bit more musical depth, I think, than you would expect. And you could also argue, to a degree, that Joe wears his influences on his sleeve. There's a song in here that sounds like it could be a Steely Dan song. There's a song in here that sounds like it could be a Police song. There's a song in here that sounds like it could be a Car song. And there's hints on the album that these influences are intentional. It's an intentional kind of like homage to these artists. Because, for example, you have a song in here called Charlie's Garden. And if you listen to it, it has that very distinctive kind of oompa, pseudo-polka feel to it that you'll hear in something like the Beatles' Octopus's Garden. Right? There's another track on there called Golden Line, which has some harmonic similarities to the parts of Abbey Road that sort of surround Golden Slumbers. So I don't really see these things as like direct, like plagiaristic or even appropriations. I kind of see them as like little musical nod and a wink. And so if you're like a music nerd like me, it almost becomes like a, name that tune in some ways on the album, but never to the point where it's actually a quotation. It's always reinterpreted, but if you understand where the influences that he's pulling from in general, I think you can kind of gain a certain amount of respect for the way that he's paying tribute to his influences. And although through this description you might think that these influences may make the album feel a little bit scattered, but it's really held together by great melodies and a lot of sincerity.